Man, Hawaii has sure gotten popular in just this month. We had Pokemon Sun and Moon come out, which pretty much takes place in a region that is Hawaii, and now Disney has their shot at portraying Hawaiian culture. Moana is the 56th Disney animated film, that is if you count all the way back to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It follows a young Hawaiian girl named Moana, who's the daughter of the village leader, but the village is starting to go through rough times. The fish keep disappearing, their crops are dying, so Moana sets sail out to the ocean to try to find a way to save her village, and along this journey she is accompanied by a mentally challenged chicken, and a demigod named Maui, who might be somewhat responsible for what's happening. Now, this movie is directed by the duo of Clements and John Musker, who are no strangers to Disney animation at all. They've made some great movies like The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Princess and the Frog, and the highly underrated Great Mouse Detective, which, in my opinion, is a better Sherlock Holmes movie than Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows, but hey, that's just my opinion. And this is their first leap into doing a CG animated film for Disney. And it's another addition to Disney's third golden era of animation. Now, let me give a brief history lesson on what I mean by the golden age of Disney animation. There are three eras. The first one was when Walt Disney was alive, and that included films like Snow White, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, the list goes on. The second era, also known as the Disney Renaissance, was throughout most of the 90s. It started with The Little Mermaid and also included movies like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King. And now this right here is the third golden era of Disney animation, which I believe started with The Princess and the Frog. Where this third golden age started is up for debate, but that's where I stand. And so far, this third era has included many great movies like Tangled, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Zootopia, Big Hero 6, and now Moana. I really do think that this is a great Disney animated movie, and there's several reasons for that. One, it's a more traditional Disney movie in the sense of story structure, the way the characters act, and just the fact that it's a musical. Because it's Clements and John Musker, of course it's going to be a musical, and the songs here are really great. They're not as catchy as something like Aladdin or even Frozen, but they are very good songs, and they fit the tone of the movie very well. They are set to a Hawaii theme, just like with The Princess and the Frog, where the songs there are unique because they're set to a New Orleans theme. And the animation here is absolutely stellar. They do a lot of great effects with the water and just making Hawaii look like an incredibly beautiful place. It's also got a lot of really creative designs. The one thing I've always loved about Disney's CG animated movies now is that the designs for the characters look like they could make an easy leap into being 2D animated. But in 3D, they're fine, and you get some impressive shots. There are just some scenes in here that are jaw-dropping. They're so beautiful. There are even a few moments that remind me of Life of Pi in how beautiful it is. But of course, great songs and beautiful animation cannot mean anything unless you have a good story and good characters, which this movie does have. It is a very classic story about a hero rising up to save her people, but the characters are also fun as well. Probably the biggest name in this movie is Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock, who plays the demigod Maui, and he does a really great job. To describe Maui, he's sort of like the genie from Aladdin, in the sense that he's this being with phenomenal cosmic power, minus the itty-bitty living space, of course, who accompanies the main hero on this journey. And he has a lot of funny moments and can be full of himself at points. But it's not a direct ripoff of the genie from Aladdin. They are, in the end, two completely different characters in the way of their background and mannerisms. But The Rock does a really great job, and I need to start calling him Dwayne Johnson because he's starting to earn my respect as an actor. And plus, this is the first kids movie that he's done that he can actually be proud of, similar to how The Jungle Book is the first talking animal movie that Bill Murray can be proud of. But despite all the star power that Dwayne Johnson has, the real star of this movie is Moana, who is voiced by newcomer Auli'i Cravalho, who does a fantastic job here. I don't think I've ever seen her or heard her voice in anything else beforehand, but she does an amazing job here, and it also really helps that she is a native Hawaiian. It adds a lot more authenticity to the role, and just makes the movie feel even more real. I mean, it's a Disney animated movie with things that could never happen, but the fact that they got an actual Hawaiian makes it more authentic. Moana is very kind and likable, but also is tough and independent when she needs to be. For this being Auli'i Cravalho's first breakout performance, she did a damn good job with this role. And the chemistry that she shares with Dwayne Johnson's Maui is fantastic. It's also a really funny movie as well. You have a lot of great jokes in this movie. Most of them are visual gags, timed so perfectly. And some of the highlights of the jokes come from this mentally challenged chicken that is pretty much Moana's pet. And it all has to do with the design of the chicken and the way he's animated that makes the jokes with him work so well. The only complaints that I have involve two jokes that just didn't hit well. There's one joke that you've seen in the trailer, or during some of the clips that Disney's released, where Maui takes the chicken and uses its beak to write his signature on Moana's paddle, and he says, "When you sign your name with a bird, it's called tweeting." And I thought, you know what, for as timeless as this movie feels, that joke just felt very out of place. I mean, Aladdin is full of a lot of pop culture references. I mean, hell, the genie does impressions of both Rodney Dangerfield and Jack Nicholson back to back. But for some reason, it worked in Aladdin, not so much here. Here, it just felt out of place. And there is one other joke in this movie that I just found to be disgusting. And not disgusting in a way that you'll be offended, but disgusting in a way where you look at the joke and go, that's a little too crude for Disney standards. I'm not going to say what the joke is, but I will say if you have seen the movie, you probably know which joke I'm talking about. So those really are my two complaints. I don't really have anything else to say about Moana. It's another great Disney animated movie to fall into their third golden age. The animation's beautiful, the characters are great, the songs are catchy, and it does have a lot of emotional weight to it. It's a story that you can really care about. I think I actually like this a little more than Zootopia. Well, Zootopia is a movie that the more I think about it, the more I love. This movie just did a little more for me. It might be more of a traditional Disney movie than Zootopia was with its social commentary, but Moana just did more for me. And in the end, I don't know if I want to quite go the distance and say, get off your ass and go see it right now. You know what? Screw it. Get off your ass and go see Moana right now. This is one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's definitely my favorite animated movie of the year, so definitely check it out. And just like with other Disney films and Pixar films, you know there's going to be a short film that comes before the feature. In this case, it's called Inner Workings, which is the story about this man who pretty much is controlled by his brain, and his heart really wants to try to do things that the brain thinks would lead to death. Like, he wants to buy sunglasses, he wants to go surf, he just wants to do a bunch of other stuff, but the brain just sticks to the norm. It's kind of like a shortened, lesser version of Inside Out, the Pixar movie from last year. And this short's really good. It has some heart to it, it's funny throughout, and the animation design is actually pretty creative. So it's definitely worth seeing in your lifetime. Not one of my favorite Disney shorts. That award still goes to Paperman, but it's definitely a good one to see. But Moana, yeah, get off your ass and go see that immediately. And that's my review for Moana. I hope you enjoyed this review. Leave a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on this movie, if and when you've seen it. And as always, this is the real Mr. Robinson telling you there's only one.